Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now we are on our way to creating a pretty beautiful micro interaction slash delightful micro interaction. So what we did was we created this design with this confetti, and this is going to be our final design. So we're just going to keep it over here because we got to think about, we have to move our way back and think about how all these little things kind of work together to actually create this explosion. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start from ground zero. So the way I think about this is I don't want my check mark or anything really to be visible. We're only going to be animating this. I mean, if you want to go ahead and do a little bit of extra, you can animate everything else and have that kind of slide in nicely. So it's totally up to you. But right now we're just going to be focusing on making this confetti explosion. So I think the first part of this is to kind of make this circle become a little more bubbly. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to make sure the check is set to 0 in opacity. We don't care about that right now. And actually we are going to make sure this is scaled down. So I have Shift Option and I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to keep on going down. So I think we have it set to 2 by 2. And I think that's fine for now. And what else we're going to do is we are going to get all these pieces to come from this middle part. So this is kind of like the middle. So let's select everything here and we can actually deselect. I'm going to press Shift and we're just going to set them up like this in a line and then all together. So that is the middle and we're just going to move them right there. And the only thing we're going to do here now is we are going to send them to the back. I think it's okay. It doesn't need to be totally centered, and we're just going to turn off the opacity. So that's ground zero. I think we can even turn off the opacity on this one. Oops, sorry, let me get that dot into the view. We can turn off the opacity here. So now we have nothing. So that's step one. Step two, which will probably be a very quick transition. So let's take a look. We have the background. We can probably just bump that up to 100 now. And this will be our second screen. And I'll tell you in a second why, because we don't want to start from just like a blank screen with a black dot because that looks really weird. What we're going to do is we're going to actually build that screen by screen a bit. So we're leaving everything the way it is. And if I remember correctly, this, let's open it. So I have Shift and I have my Shift in option to expand at the same time. And then we're expanding. And right now it's small, but the final size we want to get to is around this, which is 120 pixels by 120 pixels. So we're going to actually go a little bit larger than that. So we're going to go to maybe 144. That looks perfect. Let's move that over and let's create another screen again. So I'm holding down my Option and Shift to move and duplicate. So we can now shrink this back down to 128. So slowly. Perfect. So now let's take a look at what this looks like. So we've started kind of the beginning of our animation here. I'm going to start it by actually having that automatically happen. So it's going to be after delay, and we'll just do smart animate like we usually do. So we have 300 milliseconds. And, you know, let's actually cut that down significantly so we don't see that black dot happening forever. Now this one could be after delay as well. So this is going to be more of an automatic thing. So we have that, and then we are going to just connect that to again. So we're just collecting the whole screen, and you know, we're using after delay a lot here. So we have that is perfect. And now we can kind of just take a look as to where we are with this. Okay, so we are here in our prototype. Nice. So we kind of have like a little black ball coming up and acting as like our explosion of just like the check mark. And that's good for now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take this screen that we have. So I want to make sure that everything's in the right position. So it's Y67, so everything is centered. And we can actually prototype this right now. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to duplicate this one more time for ourselves. And we're going to select all the confetti. Let's take a look. Where's our screen here? There it is. So we're going to take all the confetti. They're all named confetti 1 through 18. So you can hold shift from 18 to 1. And there we go. If I go into my design panel, while I still have them selected, I can actually just, you know, move them out a bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move them out, because what I want to happen is I want that explosion to, you know, happen. And then I want these little pieces of confetti to just taper off and lose opacity. So that's going to be a nice little quick transition interaction. So I think that's fine for now. So I'm going to select them again. Now I'm going to actually go into my opacity and drop them down to 0. So let's actually let's connect this right here. So that's going to be after delay. And this is going to be a bit longer of an interaction. So we'll do 400 milliseconds. This one we can even bring down to like 150 if we want to keep things really tight. So we don't want our interaction or our animation lasting for way too long, because then that just gets pretty confusing. Just want it to be just right. Okay, and now we have a nice animation. We'll just loop this one because we'll start it again for the beginning. So on click, let's just go to Smart Animate. We'll just go 300. We'll see what that looks like. Okay, so let's start again. There we go. And we have just created our very cool confetti pop. Let's do that again. Start. Boom. That was pretty solid. If we bring it down in scale though, I think it's going to actually perform better. So let's go back to our working doc here. So we can, instead of just going back to the original and trying to make everything nice in terms of starting over again, you could just kind of maybe apply a dissolve, and let's see. That's probably better. Yeah, that's beautiful. So we'll just boom. Great. I think the only thing is we want to tighten up this little interaction. So we have 150 milliseconds. Let's try that one more time. Great. And this is just you and I kind of working together here to make this a little bit more of a fun interaction. So we have 150, so we can actually bring that up a bit because it's going to be a pretty big pop, boom, and those come out really nicely. So I really like how the confetti just pops out and then not only just kind of tapers off, but it takes a nice little a bit of time for that confetti to kind of just disappear. So it's like a boom, congratulations, amazing. So that is how you can create a pretty quick confetti pop animation just within Figma. And look, we only have 6 screens, and I think that only took us several minutes to actually put together. Once you have your final design as your kind of final base to work with, then you can kind of work backwards or work forwards in relation to how you want your prototype set up. And that's how you create a nice little delightful confetti pop.